After all, waiting for the dawn of the night, not in addition to re-looking in one was persists. If even Hari look of the front gate and the back gate and the Higaoki and the Genju, thief is because it is a mouse of the bag. That's okay to wait until the morning. Therefore, the people of the pursuers, in order to help the residents outside the police force. But I was raised in the garden. Just one person, only the driver of the car that Matsuno was still in the back of the garden, is surrounded by groves, such as the forest. There is a large pond. Matsuno driver is behind the people. When I was walking along the shore of the pond, I noticed suddenly strange things. The water's edge of the pond that was the light of the flashlight. But fallen leaves had full firstborn. From between the fallen leaves, one of bamboo breakage, put out the neck just a little. We're moving moves back and forth. Not the fault of the wind, though there is no wave. We only bamboo breakage, are upset strangely. The head of the Matsuno was floated there. Hajoni bizarre idea. It takes about I thought I wonder attempt to return call everyone. However, there is no so much confidence. I such that so much hard to believe. While he was in light of the electric lamp, I was squatting on the shore of the pond. Then, in order to dispel terrible doubt, it started to be strange. To explore the pocket, and taking out the tissue paper, and again in it, went with on top of the bamboo cutting in along the pond. Then, it was going to be a wonder. Thin piece of paper is in the previous bamboo tube. Not the began to move to the fluffy and up and down. Now that the paper is moving that way, from the tube of bamboo, there is no difference in the air is in and out. No way such Kodogato, Matsuno is. I do not feel like to believe their own imagination. But, let's do with this definite evidence. Life without bamboo breakage, not the not supposed to be breathing. If the winter is that you not be a little thought. But it is. As I said before, the fall of October is not a very cold climate. In particular 20 countings of the monster. The more are referred to as their own magician. Erratic adventure I like. Matsuno was at that time. I was good call of people. But, Willie wanted to hand grounds to hog. Without the help of others. I thought let's Hirashi the doubt. If he is put to the ground the electric lamp. Suddenly stretched out both hands. Grasped the bamboo out. It was a jerk pulled up. Bamboo cutting was a length of about 30 centimeters. Maybe Takeshi Tukun is playing in the garden. It will those that had been abandoned in the around here. When the pull, bamboo effortlessly extend and slurping. However, it did not just bamboo. The hands of the man ahead of bamboo became the black and the mud of the pond. Not clung. No, we do not just hand. The next hand was drenched. The figure of people like Umabozu is not appeared anew. Phantom of the treehouse. Then, at the shore of the pond, it is what happened is what? You leave it to your imagination while readers gentlemen. 5. And after 6 minutes, formerly of Matsuno driver, as if nothing had happened, had been standing on the shore of the same pond. It seems a little breathing is heavy. It does not look was changed to the other. He began to walk toward the main house in a hurry. It will what was. We caught a little lame, but limping, and steadily across the garden. I came to the front gate. The front gate. Futari secretary. Have that kind of wooden sword. We have served the turn Hari seen Mono Monoshiku. Matsuno is go up to the front, place your hand on painfully to forehead something. I know way in the cold. It seems there's a fever. Get to a little rest. And, it says in the absence of force voice. Oh, Matsuno-kun, even good. The Pearl River rest here is because we can undertake. One of the secretary replied cheerfully. Matsuno driver. And the greeting. It disappeared into the entrance walkie garage. The back of the garage crocodile. Is there his room? Then until morning. It was gone, not be otherwise possible. Front gate is also back gate also. Anyone there is nothing that has passed through. Policeman who had a fence outside of the saw beam also. The bandits seems people cage did not encounter. The 7 o'clock. Come officers of large tax from the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department. It began investigating Take in the residence, and to Take examined his living. But you the house was forbidden any go out. You do not have a way only a student. Katawaki in junior high school 3rd grade of Sanae. Takachiho is a 5-year-old Zhuang to Mr. Elementary School. When the time comes, as usual, came out of the house in a car. In the driver is still without a healthy state, but was just too much mouth Kazu also Kakazu. Bowed down, but then that the school should not be delayed. It pushes the oil was attached to the driver's seat. Nakamura, investigation chief of the Metropolitan Police Department, first in Sotero's husband, is met in the study of the crime scene. After having O2 hear in detail the particulars of the case, from examining Take the people of the walk through the house, in search of the garden I get down. Since we last night we rushed, just until now, you do not have a man thing coming out of the house. It does not have that strained ride the fence. This point is, I think that if I have enough credit, chief detective of the competent police station, was declared to Nakamura chief. Then I because pirates are still hiding in the premises. Yes, can only when you do so thinking. However, from this morning dawn, and although I have me start a search, so far, does not have anything of discovery. However, in addition to the dog of the dead, quote, that dead dog, in the here home, in order to prepare for the bandits. But I had a dog named John. It is and tried to examine had been Dokushita one of the last night. Was garbled, here's to a son, 2 of 10 countenances. Yesterday evening, it is the fact that had to eat something in the dog was found out in the garden. It is indeed prepared thoughtful way. If here Bachan is, if you do not put to set a trap, guy, he must have had fled to comfortably. Quote, let's look for the garden again, because it is quite a large garden, where there may be any hiding place. To where they came is such a stood talking. From the other side of the garden rockery, we have heard Tonkyo cry voice. Please come here, please. I found the thief. With the cry, from here and there in the garden. It was occur busy footsteps. The cops are UI heavily to the site. Nakamura, chief and the chief detective also, began to run the voice to the mercenary. If you try to go. Narishi, a voice was one of the secretary of Mr. Hashiba. He is in the tree up, such as the forest, standing under a tree in the big one Castanopsis. Are you pointing to more of the above in the partition? It is there. Are you in Escorbate is? There is certainly is a thief. Seen in the clothes I remember. 3 of she, wear from the root of about 3 meters. But we have been divided into 2 also. In the place where is the addition da? Hidden in the branches lush, is one of the human beings. The strange cuckoo I was lying looking at the place which is not also so noisy. Even trying to escape, do you thief as extinct breath? Or, do you have fainted? No way. On top of the tree. I am quite sure that I will not then are dozing. Who? Pearl River me down pull the guy. The chief of the instruction. Immediately being carried ladder. Those up to it. Those that catch from the bottom. The 3 and 4 people of power. Burglar was lowered into the ground. Oh, do not we are bound. Indeed, a kind of thin silk cord has been tied to coiled. Moreover, it is gagged. Push the big handkerchief into the mouth. Hard and a different handkerchief. It is indicated by double angular. Then, in that strange, so clothes were even in the rain. It is wet Gus Hori, and I'll take the gag, as a man noticed barely original. Son of a bitch me damn. And was beat up, or you're not Mitsuno-kun. Secretary cried surprised. It was not a 20 countenance. But I wore 20 countenance of clothes. Faces the totally different. There is no difference in Mitsuno of chauffeur. But, speaking of the driver, the best, in order to send Sanae and Takeshi to Kunna to school. Do not you just go out. The Mitsuno is, will there why here? You, I happen to hell. When the chief clerk will ask, Mitsuno is. Son of a bitch, I was done. I was beaten to him. When did cry in mortification likely? Takeshi Tukun of the future. And depends on the place where told of Mitsuno. After all, pirates are, by extravagant means, such as the following, fairly blinded the eyes of the pursuers. We found that fled comfortably through Fsina large tax. While it is oimawasa to people, bandits will jump into the garden of the pond. It had submerged in the water, but just dive in and had but cannot breathe. Just wits around here to Takeshi ni Mr. Toys had been discarded, because the thing that section without bamboo breakage had fallen in the pond. Have it goda? Rely on the tube of bamboo in the mouth, out of one of the chopsticks on the surface of the water. Breathing quietly, I had been waiting for the monkey-standing pursuers. However, remaining after the people, a lone Mitsuno driver that had looked around here in the found its bamboo out. It was Kanzui, the wiles of bandits. If you try to pull the bamboo out boldly, sure enough, the man of mud from the pond has appeared. So, fighting in the darkness began. Mitsuno was no time to seek salvation due poisoning of the mind. Quickly, it is lie down set for bandits. Tied up in a silk cord that thief had been prepared properly in the pocket is. It had been a gag. Then, after having replaced the clothes, it was a private university that was Katsugiage of tall tree also. When you try to know so, Takeshi 2 driver that you guys were going to send to school, been decided and finally bogus person, precious daughter son is, of all people, in a car to drive 20 countenance itself. It was gone somewhere. Surprise of the people, you worry about your father mother is. Harping does not have to be explained. First, Sane's destination, telephone to Katawaki Junior High School was applied. Then, surprisingly, Sane also was found to be attached to school safely. In Thief and Do I was not going apart Obika Isle, with a large peace of mind. And the next you asked by a phone call to a Tukun of the school Zhuang. To the other lesson is started. Zhuang Tukun of the figure is the answer that is not visible. When listening to it, we have changed the complexion of your father or mother. Thief has had set a trap is. Might have know that it is the Kone's Tukun. Then, in order to take revenge of the wounds were received in the foot, we might have had Obika only Kone's Tukun. Come on. Now large commotion. Nakamura investigation chief immediately reported this to the Metropolitan Police Department. Put a cordon in Tokyo whole city. Took the arrangements to find the car of Hashiba house. Because I know fortunately vehicles of the type or number. A clue is not there enough. So Taro said, each almost half an hour. Over a school and a telephone to the Metropolitan Police Department. But had let me ask a subsequent appearance. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Time to go to standing mercilessly. Takeshi Tukun of the newses. I did not know forever. However, become a lunch too much of the day. Youth of Tori Uchibo to pale dirty suit of alone as appeared at the entrance of Hashiba family. I began to say that strange. But I was asked to the driver's geek. Driver-san, the Toka could for me it is suddenly somehow in the middle. I've been asked I've been carrying the automobile car because of put into the gate. But I want you to receive and examine it is, quote, secretary, to report that to the back, because say innovation it, Kondo old man of Sotaro Mr. and manager of my husband, started running to the front door, and tried to examine the car. There is no difference certainly in the automobile of Hashiba house. However, we do not have anyone on the inside. Takeshi Tukun had been not still Obika. Oh, you have fallen in such a strange envelope. Kondo old man, from the top of the cushion of the car, was raised picked up the envelope of one mail. Only in the table there is written as large as Hashiba Sotaro Dono by Chin Exhibition. Also look at the back. There is no name of the sender. I wonder what, and Mr. Sotaro will open the seal, and then try to read while standing in the garden. There I had been chosen to write the terrible words such as left. Last night has charged 6 certainly diamonds. Brought back. The more I look dazzling jewelry. And saves important his heirloom. However, thank you as a thank you. I have a little grudge you. Someone keep and set a trap in the garden. Is that inflicted the wound of complete recovery 10 days on my feet. I have the right to ask them to compensate for the damage. Your son Takeshi-2-kun went home with him as a hostage in order that Takeshi-2, who you are now, been confined to the cold basement of Setaku. We are crying, griping in the darkness. Only Takeshi-2-kun is the person who planted that cursed trap. This long does my reward, there's a matter of course. By the way, it is the compensation for damages. In it, I will request a bodhisattva image of your holdings. I you yesterday, to give the honor to accidentally seeing the art room of Kia. But was Odorakiri to the fine of. Among them, that bodhisattva image, sculpture of the Kamakura period. There was a written description with the work of Chipponami. Indeed, those of the more went to national treasure. Is my Kinata fine arts? It was irresistible to 101. At that time, even if there is, and this Buddha only should be charged. It was decided firmly, for, at the positive 10 tonight, the 3 people, those of my subordinates, because you calling on the Kia, we like through the art room in silence. They pack up the only bodhisattva image. We become a planned monkey carries picking on track. Takeshi-2-kun of the hostages, and good offices to return to Kia to Buddha and exchange. I promise there is no doubt over the name of the 20 countenance. Must not be made known this in the police. Also you should not have to put the after the track of subordinates. If there is such a thing, if Takeshi-2-kun, please Obo-shimeshi shall not go back forever. Although this offer is believed to get the always consent, the theory consent just in case. Please keep in Nakahana, the main gate, only until 10 o'clock tonight. We will to be calling on it to the Iandishia. Then 20 countenance. Hashiba Sotaro Dono. What a good request of insects. Sotaro Mr. Beginning, but with shy mortification holding a fist. Is taken hostage irreplaceable that Takeshi-2-kun. You cannot do that. Unfortunately, it seems to be no date in addition to comply with this reckless offer. It should be noted, captured the young man has been driving a car being asked to bandits. But was enough Sengi. He just was asked, somewhat got to think. That of the burglar did not know anything. Boy detective, and attributed the youth driver. Immediately. Sotaro Mr. and Mrs. Husband. Kondo old man. It is sent to the janitor's school. Sanae, who came back to skip the car to join. A secluded room of finishing up carefully treatment consultation was held. It is longer linger I not help. Speaking of 10 o'clock, 8, there are only 9 hours. I because to enter the hand if put out that even the other does not matter if the thing. Diamond mystery money. However, only that bodhisattva image. Eagle. I do not want very much hand banashi. The AEU national treasure of the masterpiece. Is I, such as in the hands of bandits. Not sorry for the Japanese art world. That sculpture, but are housed in the art room of this house. I because much have never thought that it is not the eagle private matter. Quote, Sotaro said, did not have us thinking about my son indeed. However, Hashiba Mrs. does not go so. It is full of the by the poor cones to kun. If my passport, Buddha, that child is, or does not have them, do not know what fit in any order. No matter how important works of art, we would not be changed to the human life. Not whether Ashara de police in, not please doing in response to the offer of bandits. Quote, the back of the eyelids of the mother. Where the dark basement, not maybe, is Zhuang Tu-kun figure that Nikijaku all alone, was not vividly desubsidized. Dear even wait etc. O'clock this evening of 10. Even right now, the Buddha statues in exchange. We want to regain the early cones to kun. Yeah, but thing is of course to regain the cones too. but on top taken the diamond, until that irreplaceable works of art. And I think that what passes in Omium Bandits. He dying, sorry, Kondo-kun, would that there is no any way. Quote, it will there's, yes. If you inform the police. Because Chama show quickly it is errata. That the letter of pirates is this evening until 10 o'clock. You'll need to make sure to have so as not to leak to the outside. However, if the private detective, quote, old man, was suddenly began to have the idea, yeah, there is a thing called private detective. However, such as personal detective, this major event is a good command, Kashirin. If you more I hear anything alone in Tokyo, but there by Mosu if there are Haluva detective. To see that the old man is puzzled, Mr. Sane was suddenly a pair of scissors the mouth. Your father, Idol Kogoro detective Akechi, if that person, the incident threw the spoon in the police, is the name detective as say a number were also resolved. Oh yeah? The Akechi was a man named Kogoro. Indeed seems Haluva a man. 20 countenance and is let there is a commitment of the cuckoo. Yes. The name is sometimes Eagle was also heard. In, called softly to the detective. The one are trying to be seen as consultation. Experts. Challenges may we and there is a good idea to not reach the imagination. Quote, and after all, it was the talk to ask this incident to Kogoro Akechi was decided. Immediately, Kondo old man. Check the phone book. I make a phone call to the home of Akechi detective. Then, from the telephone outlet, in a childlike voice, such a reply was heard. For a teacher now, serious a case, because it is a business trip to a foreign country, when you do not know even with your return. However, since available an assistant that Kobayashi has served as a teacher of the proxy, if you are satisfied with that person, immediately we will ask you. Quote, oh, really? But, hey, because it is extremely Nanjikan, very much, than those of the assistant. If we hesitate, condo manager, from the other party, as Akabuzuru, it has been sounded good-spirited voice. Even though the assistant, I'm a masterful witch is not inferior to the teacher. I think enough want your trust Nasu. Anyway, let we decided to try to ask you once. In the, really, please tell us soon give us one of your trouble of going somewhere. But leave the refuse. That was your request the incident. And may the other party is the great thing about people of life such you. Enough top of your attention. So as not to be convicted anyone. Please secretly ask. Quote, it is without until you say, you are well knows how. There is a kind of question and answer, now that more and more detective that Kobayashi is coming off the phone. Enough even when I was probably only one. It is one of the pretty boy, standing at the entrance of Hashiba family, was deliberately guide. When you get to the secretary commission, the boy, I am a friend of Kone's to Kun, and was a self-introduction. I do not welcome Mr. Takeshi Nias. If you answer, the boy, or else count and sin that Alan. Pretty much. And I thought I would do that. Please a little to meet the father. I have a Kodazuke from my father. I, is Monteyu Kobayashi. And it was crowded. I say the conference is spoofing. On hearing the story from the secretary, Sotaro said, because the thing that there is per heart to named Kobayashi, anyway, was not passed through the reception room. When the Sotaro Mr. will continue entered, shining the cheek as apples, eyes large, 12 3-year-old boy was standing. Hashiba's. Nice to meet you. I'm Monteyu Kobayashi of Akechi Detective Agency. Because we please call us. We would like to ask you. The boy by Kurakori eyes told me in a clear tone. Oh, because it is your is. Chitogomi, was the case of the Kobayashi-san. I want you to come to the person in question. But, the Sotaro Mr. Bet good, the boy replied while to stop by raising their hands. No, it's Yoshio Kobayashi. Assistant is not in the other. Ho, Kimigago person is. Sotaro Mr. surprised. At the same time, somehow, it has become the no reason pleasant feeling. Such a tiny child. Nanny's name detective. I wonder if true. But countenance in the wording is quite tanimo she likely to why. 1. How try over a period of consultation on this child. A while ago, for such detective of masterful on the phone port, you was that of you owner? Yes, that's right. I'm from the teacher. It is left completely the case in absence. The boy is confident. Now, you are? It seems to have gone that Zhuang's second friends. Was why I know the Kone's second name. I not know that much of it. You cannot detective work. So the business magazine had come out of your family. I have been examined in the AudioBook. On the phone. That related to the people have survived since the top there was. Sanae or Takeshi too, you do. Either came to imagine that it would became even unknown whereabouts. Apparently, it seems that imagination was hit. Then, to this incident examples 20 countenance of pirates is, or does not has to do. Quote, Kobayashi boy, I listened to quite Koki Myoku mouth. Indeed, this child is ill might really Detective Sotaro said I have to admire completely. Then, call the kondo old man in the drawing room. The particulars of the case where to I decided to make details speak I heard this boy. The boy, in the key points. While a pair of scissors a short question, but was eager to hear, and talk live, was offered to want to see the statue of Guan Yin. Then, in the guidance of Mr. Sotaro, look at the art room. In the state I was returned to the original drawing room. For a while, do not even say things which shut your eyes. Have indulged in something thinking did. Before long, the boy, and open a bright eyes, so as to begin to write Hitohiza, said into your spirit. I had come up with one good means. If the other party magician, here also you become magician. It is Hajoni dangerous means, but do not run the risk, so it does not be able to make a hand grounds. Tabaku wamai. There is experience that did even more dangerous. Quote, who it looks promising, but exactly what kind of means? That's Kobayashi boy, approaching suddenly to Mr. Sotaro, whispered something in the ear our original. For example, you can do. Sotaro said, could not help not to much of the bizarre offer, round ice. That's right, when a little thinking, but is a difficulty likely? We in. The method I know Zumi test yesteryear. The guy of the French thief Arsène Lupin equals. Teacher in this hand. According to the terrible I sometimes did it. Quote, Takeshi second there is no such thing as dangerous to himself. It's okay. If the other party is a small thief. But it's rather dangerous. What would be the 20 countenances? Will not or Tagai the promise. Takeshi Tukun because to give back to the Buddha and the exchange. Danger occurs must have Irasharu back here properly before. If not, that time also there's a way at that time. I'll be okay, but I'm a child, not considered never overdo things him. Mr. During the absence of Akechi, you do not let that kind of dangerous. Is that of an emergency trouble is. Ha ha ha. I do not know our life. Detective Nanti the same thing as a police officer. I'm a long-cherished ambition once fallen for a criminal investigation. However, I do not have anything as such a thing. That the danger it is not in enough of the work. You are okay purchase decisions to turn a blind eye. Even without excuse me, just to run the other I do not pull to the left. Selfishness planned. Quote. Also kondo old man Hashiba said also the healthy of this boy was Mori Mishigimi. Then, as a result of long during the consultation, it has been decided to talk to at last to run the idea of Kobayashi boy. Miracle of the Buddha. Well, flying as talked will move to the evening event. 10 o'clock p.m. Not Tagai the promise. 20 countenance 3 people of Eric your man of subordinates is. Of remains Akahana, we pass under the Hashiba house gate. Thieves, etc. to Sherm's secretary standing at the door. I come to me the goods of promise. And, while leaving the Sutezurifu, and appeared to have been taught the between up. lost even without, went and steadily depressed toward the back. At the entrance of the art room, I have received weight and Sotaro. Mr. Kondo, old man, was called out to one of the bandits. Promises, I guess, no doubt. I guess children were brought. Then thief was answered surly. I do not an nya worry. Children's is, and the other perfectly. Masa, yes, and brought up near the gate. But I, is see his wasted I was looking for. Osseous to begin to carry the luggage. No matter how looking, I do not know I are to be devised so. In Nakya, I because Kochitora is dangerous. Quote, Izute, the three men went to Dokadoko art room. The room they become built, such as the storehouse, under the dim electric lights, is like glass shelf, such as a museum. Our youth surrounds around and guru, well hair of swords, armor, ornaments, of the box to keep valuables kind, folding screen, hanging scroll, etc., in the corner of one that is aligned with a crowdedly place. The higher the height, 1.5 meters, have a rectangular glass boxes standing. The during, it is enshrined the bodhisattva image of the problem, on top of the pedestal of lotus, of about the size of half of the human true. It will become in mortar black cannon is sitting. But the original will was the golden dazzling your appearance. Now just pale black on one side. Also a lot of Irash Aru wearing folds clothes. You have some places sliding defeated. But, truly the work of a master craftsman. Just seems to be whether the harmonious meek your face immediately is out laughing at any moment. Any villain is worship this your figure. You will see as much as unexpected as the stomach without hands in prayer. 3 of the thief. Our care truly can be subtracted to the gentleness of your figure of the Buddha. Not look dare, took immediately to work, I not will linger. Z big hurry, if you spread that kind of dingy cloth alone brought to you. Man of the other alone is, with its bridge, the outside of the Buddha glass box. We will wound round and round. Soon, the same no unexpected cloth wrapping as I have finished. Look, Z breaks when you have a gooder. Horizontal, Yoisho, outrageously and to shout of. The guy of the 3 people the luggage. We began to carry to the table. Sotaro and Mr. Kondo, old man. Until it is loaded on top of the track. Banged regard to near the 3 men. Had been Haseen, is the Habuda only. Will not come back as Takeshi Tukun. Because not Nanimo. Eventually, the engine of the truck. The beginning becomes noisy. The car is now about to departure likely. Hey, we where is Mr. Takeshini? Among that does not return to Takeshini's. Gonna not starting the car. If you set out to impossible, inform the police at once. Kondo, old man, and the other was a life subject. I can he made to worry about. Look, Bachin facing behind. I come to the front door any more properly, Sarah. When I turn around, I see, in front of the entrance of the electric lamp, and of the small and the large, 2 black people cage you will see. And Sotaro and his old man, it while you are distracted by, tracked away from the temple, when it becomes an instant small. The 2 of was turned back to near the entrance of people cage hurry. Oh, Koitsurawa. Or not a parent and child of a beggar who was at the gate from a little while ago. Satewa. How is full Kawasa? Indeed it was a beggar of Futari, visible parent and child. Both people, wearing a pale dirty clothes tattered, and the hakamori in the towel is Nishime. I'm what is not troubled by came to a place like this. When you rebuked Kondo, old man, parent of beggar began to laugh in a strange voice. Our promise. When I think or say that, not gibberish. He started to run Yanivani. Like a wind. The darkness. I have flown away to the outside of the gate. Father, is me. Now the children of beggars. Or does not break the ice that's strange. Then, suddenly, it takes a hakamori, and see that was stripped off his tattered clothes. Had appeared from under it. School uniform with a look remember. White face. A child beggar what? It was none other than Kone's 2-kun. What is it like this dirty Nari was in? Hashiba, mister? Asked while holding the nostalgic Kone's 2-kun of hand. Well, there is something not. 20 guy countenances. I was dressed like this kimono, but they fitted the gag until now. I thing did not say. Oh, now the parent beggar in. What? It was a 20 countenance, that person. He was disguised as a beggar. Implicitly, after having ascertained that the Buddha was Dasakari, to return the promise to Keshi 2-kun. There is no difference to fled. Even so, the beggar would disguise that boldly. Say what? If the beggar, even though wandering around the temple of the people, that terribly suspicious is not, is the idea seems to 20 countenance. Takeshi 2-kun went back safely. If you listen, the other party, but is confined to the basement. There is no such thing as being a part abuse. It is that the meal was also enough. Edogawa. The big worry of this in Hashiba who has been removed, or joy of your father mother was a kind of, you leave it to your imagination of readers, gentlemen. Now on the other hand, 20 countenance, which was disguised as a beggar, as the wind jumped to Hashiba house gates, hidden in Ogurai alley. If you take off quickly, beggar of the kimono, is under its jidoku appearance of brown disguise of the old man was yes available. Head is gray hairs, face and full of wrinkles. It is how you look your retirement clients, which strained the 60 even. He adjust the figure, for the cane of bamboo that had hidden, and rounding the back, to toddler, began to walk. Even if you ignore the Hashiba Mr. Promise, even directed the pursuers. This does not have the gas diction, which is bush scene. Indeed, it is prepared thoughtful vending flaps of just pile in mind. When the old man out on the boulevard, to stop call a single taxi, but boarded, 20 minutes even if left to run in the direction of the bullshit. Transfer the car to another, this time, or hasten to the hideout of the Trudid. Was stop the car, was the entrance of Toyama Keihara. The old man there and down the car. We will walk weak from old age, a dark open field. Satewa, den of pirates as I had to Toyama Keihara, one of the outskirts of the open field, in a cedar forest that was Konmori and Potsori. It stood the one house of the old mansion. Not even live in desolate such a building. The old man, the doorway of the Western style, hit 3 in tons break even. At intervals a little, was seared 2 and break even. Then, this is what looked like a sign of the fellow. The door is open from the inside. One of the minions who stole the best Buddha issued a new end face. The old man stood previously remained silent. We will steadily went toward the back. In the hallway of the abutment, old as believed would have been no doubt a fine, if there is a large room. In the middle of the room, a glass box of Buddha of remains wrapped. The cloth is no electric lamp, reddish-brown of bare candle to light. It has been Dasa light. Yoshi, me do well. This is a reward, but complaining to go to somewhere nice. Give 1,000 yen bill of several sheets to the 3 people who, if Saru standing the room, old man, is removed slowly cloth of glass box. In one hand a naked candle was there, in front of the Buddha statue standing. I open the door of the glass that is in the open door. Canon 20 before the arm of the countenances. It is what Mon. Yesterday 2 million yen of the diamond. Today is the national treasure of art. If it is this Shoshi, even large museums that my plan was. I think that tries to be completed soon. Ha ha ha. Canon. Z, you are well done indeed. I seem to like living. Quote. However, it did readers, gentlemen. At that time, 20 countenance of the soliloquy is on whether the unexpected end or ends. To his Katobodori, I truly terrible miracle has happened. Canon of the right hand of wooden, not have been extended before and gu. In addition, the finger, one rather than a lotus stem of the usual ding of the pistol, and aimed at the chest of perfect and bandits, not have been held. Buddha is not going to work alone. In the canon, does it machine G over such as Android, has been decorated. But the statue of the Kamakura period, it does not mean that there is such a gimmick. Then, you'll exactly this miracle was why angry. But, 20 countenance that has been posed a pistol. And there was no time to believe such a thing. He shouted as up, while the cringing in a Tojasari. The only unexpected said that not Mukai hand. I have instinctively raised both hands up to the shoulder. Pitfall. Indeed the thief also. This was crushed bile. The other party is not a thief, such as amazing also directed the much pistol of human beings but canon of the old Kamakura era. Because I began to move suddenly. We cannot help not surprised. Rather than surprised, and also, I fear from the bottom of Zo and mind have welled up. Scary, such as dreaming, or such as came across even in ghosts, is downright unexpected might of the enigmatic fear. Fearless 20 countenances, poor thing, and turn pale, and the cringing in a Tojasari. And so I'm sorry, the candles in the floor. I have high raised both hands. Then, even if again, it was going to be quite frightening. Canon is down from the pedestal of Renge, on the floor, or does not stood up and painted. Then, while staring aim of the pistol, 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, you come closer toward the pirates. Yellow, difference, heck, who was 20 countenance, such as the beast that has been cornered, was built moaning. Do Eagle came to retake Hashiba family of diamond. Right now, if you pass along, I'll help you survived. That I was surprised, I Buddha went things. The I ordered in the ponderous voice. Haha, difference. In disguise to Mawashimono as high. Buddha of Hashiba house. It's came to identify my hideout. If it can be seen that the opponent is human-like. Burglar noticed a little original, but unexpected might of the enigmatic fear. But it is still present at all. This is because, into humans in disguise. Because Buddha was too much small. Looking at the place where stood up 12, there are only 3 of the children of stature. The dwarf like a guy, pays calm, because are you talking about things in a dignified voice, such as the elderly? Are you poor? Which indeed cannot be anything of the epithet. In how much unexpected past a diamond? Thief is fearfully to try playing the mind of the opponent. I asked, is the only your life is lost? This pistol sounds always like you can use Zim, not a toy. To be continued. Thank you for your viewing. If you like, please subscribe to the channel. I am very encouraged.